Okay, we're back. The next fun thing hey, we're back, and this time with the microphone. We're back, and this time what we're going to do is something kind of fun where we're going to actually create a project timeline. So we're going to use GPT. Let's just see. We're going to do a little more calculations and stuff. So we're going to use O1 rather than 4O. This uses more advanced reasoning. So we're going to switch, and you'll see that is highlighted now up here in the upper left-hand corner. And so for this project timeline, it's going to be we're going to do a road trip. It's going to be the project, but you could imagine how a project could be like, a partnership or a new product that needs to be rolled out. But in this case, we're saying, hi, it's good to be polite, to the GPT. Hi, I need you to generate a detailed daily itinerary for an upcoming road trip. Sounds fun. Okay, but this is going to ultimately kind of have the look and feel of a project timeline. So we're going to say, we're going to, give it the deets here, the details. So, okay, yep, we already said that. So let's just do it just once now here, folks. Okay. So we're going to do this road trip, and, I might just use my trick that I showed you all in the last video here in just a second. So here's the details of the trip. Okay. I will be leaving Los Angeles on July 1st. Okay, so I'll be leaving Los Angeles on July 1st and aim to arrive in New York City on July 15th. Okay, and there's going to be some more information. I'm gonna really trick it out with like lots of details because I want to try to prompt this thing out in like one go. And so since I'm going to be driving a U-Haul truck, my top speed is going to be 65 miles an hour. And I really don't want to travel a length of time more than, let's say, 4 hours in any given stretch. So we're going to say that as well. And I'm just going to keep typing this out in sort of this format here. I don't want to travel a length more than 4 hours in any one stretch. And after a stretch of driving, I want to make sure that I have a place to pit stop, so we're going to say after a stretch of driving, I'll need to refill my gas tank. So be sure that there's a good place for a pit stop at the end of each stretch of driving. And then I like to drive, but like I don't want to drive more than 10 hours in one day. If I get up early and hit the road, at sunup, I could pull a 10-hour drive, but I don't want to do more than that. So we're going to say in one full day, I don't want to drive more than 10 hours. So we'll see how it handles all these calculations. And then I need a place to sleep in each town that I stop in. So let's make sure that when we hit the end of that 10-hour stretch or whatever, that there's a place to sleep. So I need a place to stop every night and would like the towns I stay in to be no more than 50,000 people in population. So I want to kind of hit small towns along the way, not tiny, tiny towns, but like, moderately small towns. But they need to have a place where I can sleep. And then I'm a little bit particular about, the kind of place I stay in because I don't just want to be put in some random motel or something. So I'm going to tell it that, for each town that I need to stay in, I need you to give me a recommendation for a hotel that has a 3 or higher star rating. And it can, how's it going to know that information? It's going to use reputable online resources because I always ask it to do that. And then I'm also going to say, next, let's have it. I want to know what's going on, like in the towns when I get there. So it's an important part of my project timeline to make sure I know what's going on at each stop. So I'm going to say, I also want you to check reputable online resources to see if there are any special events happening in those towns on the dates that I will be there. And then let's add just one or two more things here. Let's just try adding a couple more things just to give it some more things to work on. And I said, okay, so I just added this sentence at the end. I'd like to stay in as many different towns as possible. But it's okay if I stay more than one night in a certain location, especially if there's a lot to do at that location while I'm there. I don't want to stay more than 2 nights though in any one location. So that's just giving me a little more detail. So let's see what it comes up with. This is going to be an interesting trip planned by ChatGPT. This is the O1 version. So if you've been watching some of the other ones where we use 4.0, this will look a little bit different as it's thinking through it. We'll try to pick up on where those differences are. Let's go ahead and send this right now and see what happens. So it's reasoning, it's crafting a journey, and you can read some of these things it's saying. I'm crafting a detailed itinerary. I'm charting the course, looking for hours of drive time and miles and populations, formulating a route, crafting the day-by-day itinerary, aiming for 200 miles daily. There's much more detail in the thought process here that it's going through when you use the O1 version of ChatGPT. Mapping day one. So now it's mapping day one, revising the journey, evaluating day one. So it's more evaluative, it's more analytical. Charting day two, charting day three, assessing, going back and assessing, right? Okay, so we're going to drive to Henrietta, Oklahoma, which spans 20 miles. Lots of details in the way it's thinking. Who knows if any of this is right? We don't know. We'll try to double check some of that stuff a little bit later on, but it's going through a lot of processing, just a lot. Refining day one, it's going back to day one. So it's doing a little bit, going back, recalculating, doing a little bit more, recalculating, charting the course, arranging accommodations, um, ensuring progress. I'm simplifying the travel plan, focusing on smaller towns along I-40. Reaching New York City, sorry, by July 15th is crucial with some 2-night stops in notable places. So it's constantly reminding itself what's going on. Tweaking the itinerary. I'm considering a revised route that trims travel to 5 hours, ensuring manageable daily stretches and nightly hotel stays while maintaining a relaxing pace and fresh progress towards NYC. Dude, it's really like it's trying to be very thoughtful. Um, Crafting travel dynamics, piecing it together, nailing down the details. So sometimes you can really send O1 on a real goose chase. But here we go. So now below is a 15-day west to east coast itinerary designed to fit your parameters. Okay, departs Los Angeles and arrives in New York. Driving a U-Haul, top speeds of 65. No single driving stretch longer than 4 hours without a break. No more than 10 hours driving per day. Overnight stops in towns under 50K population. Recommended 3+ star hotel. Where possible, notable events. Using publicly available, though hypothetical data. Oh, so interesting. Hypothetical data. We'll see what happens there. Maybe this is all fictitious for it. I don't know. Um, some legs are shorter than the 10-hour minimum or maximum to ensure comfortable pacing and compliance with smaller town stops. Okay, well, let's see. Let's just bust this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, before we look at it, I'm going to drag and drop to copy this whole timeline just so you can see if you had it making this project timeline for you. One easy way to get it into your document is to copy and paste it over to your document on the right-hand side. Boom. And you can see like actually formatting looks pretty tight, pretty good. Let's go all the way to the top. So it's a 7-page timeline, properly formatted. And let's just go through it like this. Okay. So day one, and actually just to compare, just to do a quick compare, what I want to do is grab the actual, it has a little copy sign down here and you can actually copy it there. The formatting will probably be a little different. Let's just see how the formatting changes if we do this. So we're going to select everything, delete, and then paste with the new formatting. I don't know if that's really any different. It looks pretty darn similar. So let's go zip up to the top and we'll go with this version and let's take a full look at it here. So here again was the summary, and then so day one is a Tuesday, July 1st. Probably good to fact check that. Like, is it even looking like, is it, and this is the kind of thing it could easily make up. I don't think it would, but I'd want to double check this because what if this was a Wednesday and it had us in like 22 AD or something, or, whatever. So you never know. So it's going to the first, for day one, we're going LA to Winslow, Arizona. That sounds about right. I've actually done that the other direction from Arizona to Los Angeles. So I know that that's actually doable in the other direction. 450 miles, drive time 7 hours, suggested pit stops. And guess what? I've actually also stopped in Barstow and Kingman. So it's taken us on Route 66, which is a cool way to start. Winslow's got a population about 9,000. Recommendation for the hotel is the Best Western, 3-star range. local events, no major publicly listed events, but check your tourism sites for updates. Let's scroll through. So then we go to Tucumcari. We got a fuel and a snack in Gallup, New Mexico. This is right out of the Route 66 song, actually, if you know that. Tucumcari, Best Western Discovery. Was that the same one I put up here? Best Western Plus. Okay, so maybe these are actual names. Historically, Tucumcari hosts a small Independence Week celebrations, and we can consult local listings for dates. And let's see, Clinton, Oklahoma on day 3. We got some pit stops in Amarillo, right off, also out of the Route 66 song. And then the Hampton Inn, 3-star range. And some towns in western Oklahoma host 4th of July fire. We got cut off there for a second, but so we're not going to go read through this verbatim, but basically you can see that it's followed the prompt pretty specifically all the way through day 6. Day 7's got us in Tennessee. Day 8's in Salem, Virginia. Hey, minor league baseball might be in season. Check the game schedule. So it's giving some suggestions. So it does add, it can ad lib a little bit, which is nice if you want some of that input into your project, or if you think you might have some blind spots that it can kind of uncover for you. Staunton often hosts summer music or Shakespeare performances. So there you go. Day 10. And I mean, you could have done other things like, could have said like, hey, on day 7, I need to be in Texas. And then it would have figured that out. So it looks like it did what we asked pretty darn closely. And I'd want to go through and double check everything because you just can't trust anything it throws at you. But especially if you're out on the open road. But yeah, not a bad start since I couldn't have named, maybe I could have named like 3 of the towns that I would have guessed it would have had me stop in just because I've done this route once before in the opposite direction. But not bad. And look, you know, nice little closer at the end there. Safe travels and enjoy the cross country journey. Cool. So that's going to wrap up project planning, timelines, and milestones and things like that with our little fun example of driving across country. And so next, we are going to do some fun things with Excel. And so I'm going to get into that in just a moment. See you back in just a second.